time zones, my Sakonauts. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as the Witch of Tylwyth Teg, and today we are talking about crafts and herbs and magical hearth things, related magical work, in House Witch by Arin Murphy-Hiscock. If we haven't met before, I'd like to welcome you to my channel. It is very nice to meet you. If you have been here before, it's so lovely to see you back. I love you guys. I'd like to start this morning with a grounding ritual to start your day. This starts near your domain. Let me adjust my script. Starts near your domain. If you've not created a domain, you might want to sign up for my newsletter, which is linked below. Sit with your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment. And as you let it out completely through your mouth, let go of the tension from the night and the grogginess of the morning. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in pure love. As you breathe out, imagine you are breathing out forgiveness. Take a third deep breath in, and as you do so, imagine a light coming in at the top of your head. It enters at the top of your head and spreads down over your face, neck, shoulders. This cleansing light now expands along your back, down your legs, and out through your feet. It is as if cleansing light is a constant flow of soothing energy entering from your head and passing out through the arches of your feet. You are just outside the door of your domain. The air is crisp and cool. The evergreens sway slightly in the breeze, and the ground has a large patch of moss at your feet. Step barefoot onto the moss. Feel how soft it is. Feel the solid ground underneath. The light coming into your head can now be translated into energy that you can send out your feet. Convert the light into roots and send the roots out the bottoms of your feet and deep into the earth, as deep as you can. The soil is fresh, easy to toil, easy to carve a path down. Feel how anchored you are, how close to the earth. Reach as far down as you can. The earth hugs your roots comfortably, no matter how sharp or curly, no matter how many times they split off. Slowly pull the roots back up the way they came. Your roots slither through the dark, the soil filling in its wake. Pull the roots back into your feet, convert it back to the light, and let the light filter through you and out the top of your head. Take one more deep breath in and begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we just did our morning grounding ritual. If you are interested in more meditations like this one, but maybe a bit more exploratory, you might want to look at subscribing to my Patreon, where I will be releasing 2 a month to help you on your supernatural and spiritual journey. Until then, you can join me for coffee in the mornings here on YouTube. Did I post the wrong link? Didn't think I did. Didn't think I did. Also, Moon Bunny is productive on Twitch. Well, I will pull the card for today. Be there people here or not. Shuffle my deck. Happy Friday morning to everybody who watches this. Hello, Nicole. Glad you could make it, my love. I was just about to pull the card. One more good shuffle. Let's see what it says. It says the 8 of Cups. Yeah. Come on, back in the box. Back in the box. All of you. 8 of Cups. And technically I pulled it in reversed, but the whole deck was reversed. So dissatisfaction with the day today leads you to reevaluate your life, where you are and where you're headed. Oh, usually I hold up the card, don't I? You've strived to get to this point on your path and you're left feeling unfulfilled, seeking a deeper truth. There's a buzz in your ear to give it all up and chase your joy, even if it doesn't make sense yet. You've decided to take a stand for yourself and your happiness. Comfort in material and physical needs aren't quite cutting it anymore, and you're looking for a deeper connection with your purpose in life. Constant striving and achievement leaves you running on empty, neglecting yourself in the process. You're in the mood for introspection, discovering how to best implement your plans in nourishing ways. Man, ain't that the truth? Appreciate your journey so far in this transition period. You're ready to move past the comfortable and to start feeding your soul. Of course, this deck is calling you out. So, I am indeed in a place where I'm trying to figure out where I'm going and why I'm going, and having a little bit of an existential crisis. And it's been affecting my sleep. So I'm just like going back and working on stuff that I should have worked on in 2020. So it's not like I'm sitting on my ass doing nothing, right? I am tempted to smoke a cigarette. I am tempted. All right, herbs, crafts, and other hearth-related magic work. New chapter, new chapter. Looks like we're getting close to the end of the book. Do I need some shadow work? Shadow work in the sense that just coming up with a clear direction. And I have a lot of directions that I'm going. I just need to prioritize, like, this one first, and then this one, and then this one. So maybe I'll get a little bit closer to my end goals if I make progress on the things that will get me to my end goals. Since the House Witch's path revolves around home and family, a chapter devoted to crafts and techniques through which hearth magic may be shared seems essential. This chapter explores basic techniques found in magical practice that are particularly suited to hearth magic, such as herbal magic. These activities and crafts are hearth-based in that they have as their goals the enhancement of your home environment and the health and happiness of your home. The magic of herbs. When you page through herbal books, magical or otherwise, you will find that most plants are associated with protection and or love in some way, or money. There is a very simple reason for this. Herbs and green things are reflections of the natural world, and thus these common associations, are also two things most desired by humankind, knowingly or unknowingly. Both love and protection are two important themes in hearthcraft. Love doesn't necessarily mean for love spells or enticing someone to fall in love with you. This is a very common misconception. As a house witch, you want your home to be a place filled with love for family and friends. Love of the self is also important as it signifies acceptance and support of oneself, something that is often rarer than it ought to be. Hi, Alex. It's awesome seeing you this morning. Did you manage to get some sleep? I hope you did. It was pretty early/late for you last night. If working with the energy of herbs interests you, take a look at my book, The Green Witch, for many ideas incorporating the energies of herbs and other items of the natural world into your spiritual and magical work. I have that book upstairs. So there's a chance maybe we'll go into that. To personalize your spiritual or magical activities, choose a signature herb or stone and add it to all your magical work. Enchant it with your personal energy first. Hold and visualize your personal energy flowing from your heart down your arms to your hands, and picture it being absorbed by the herbs or the stone. Teas and brews. The most basic way to make a tea is by steeping fresh or dried plant matter in very hot water or infusing it. Resulting liquid is called an infusion. This method is most effective for leaves, flowers, and crushed fruit. If the plant matter is chunky or dense, as bark, roots, or needles tend to be, then a decoction is called for. A decoction is made by actually boiling or heating the plant matter in water for a long period of time. Warning: make sure you know what you're doing if you plan to make something to drink. Use reliable reference books to identify and prepare herbal medicines or beverages. My English and speaking is not top tier yet today. For a longer lasting liquid form, a tincture can be made. A tincture is generally also stronger than an infusion. It is made by infusing plant matter in a stable, long-lived base such as alcohol or glycerin. I have a friend who makes lots of tinctures and stuff. Here are some examples of basic infusions and decoctions. To make herbal or flower water, place approximately a double handful of your chosen plant matter in a sterilized, covered bottle or jar. Pour boiling water over it until it just covers the plant matter. Cover with lid, shake, and leave to cool and steep. Shake it 2 or 3 times weekly. After about 10 days, strain and store the water in a clean jar or bottle. It will keep in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 weeks. If you wish to intensify the scent, steep a new batch of plant matter in the infusion. This can be used as a body splash or an additive for cleaning water. This also makes a very gentle space purifier when misted around the room, aka Florida water. Water. I use alcohol instead of boiling things, but there's no reason why. I use essential oils and alcohol to make my Florida water, but you can also take flowers that you are particularly fond of, like jasmine, or rather jasmine and rose, and whatever flowers you can find, basically, that smell good. Throw it into alcohol. I know, right? For real. Also, hi, Tani. To make herbal vinegar, place a handful of your chosen plant matter in a clean jar with a lid. Pour vinegar over it until it just covers the plant matter. Leave the vinegar to steep in the refrigerator for 1 to 3 weeks. Strain the vinegar into a clean bottle and label it with the name and date. Use herbal vinegar in place of regular vinegar or as an additive to wash water for floors or windows. Gambates, like, try again! We're rooting for you! To make herbal oils, place a handful of your chosen plant matter in a small saucepan and pour a cup of light olive oil or safflower oil over it. Heat the oil and plant matter gently over a low heat for 15 minutes, then pour oil and plant matter into a clean jar. Cover the jar with a double-layered cheesecloth and fasten with a rubber band. Allow to sit in a sunny spot for 10 days to 2 weeks, then strain the oil into a clean bottle cap and label with the same
Name and date. Use the oil in cooking if the plant matter is edible, or to anoint objects, windows, doors, and so forth. I often infuse olive oil with rosemary or lavender, and it's got to be dried, like super dried, otherwise it will grow mold. Yeah, just throw it in the oil, put it in a sunny spot, and just leave it all the time. I just leave it on my counter in my well-lit kitchen, where everything's a sunny spot. It's all diffused light, but it's there. Here are a few other ways of using infusions and similar extracts. To make herbal or floral sprays, make a freshly made cool infusion in a clean spray bottle and mist it into the air. Alternatively, place a few drops of a decoction or tincture into a bottle of clean water and shake to blend. It's not the amount that matters, it's the energy that the drops carry. To make floor washes, add an infusion, drops of a decoction or tincture, or a few drops of essential oil to a bucket of clean water. Mop the floor or dip a clean cloth into the wash water and wipe down walls, door frames, window ledges, and so forth. For use in baths, add an infusion, decoction, or drops of a tincture to your bath water. Simple as that. Here are some suggestions for herbal blends that can be used for various applications, such as simmering potpourri, sprinkling or sweeping powders, in sealed bottles as talismans, or steeped, strained, and used as anointing potions. If you can't stand the smell of one of these, or if you know your personal energy doesn't interact well with it, leave it out and find a substitute with a similar energy. For productivity, try cinnamon, clove, allspice, and ginger. For healing, try vervain, rose, and chamomile. Except unless you have like a hay fever allergy, which apparently I have, I advise not using chamomile in any capacity, or you will have an allergic reaction. It is no bueno. Started making shower spray for all the rentals I manage. Nice. I love being able to choose the essential oil combo, and I've got a lovely brown glass bottles too. That's wonderful. You manage a bunch of rentals? I didn't know that. For relaxation, try rose, chamomile, and lavender. Again, you can omit the chamomile. For communication, try basil, carnation, and lavender. For protection, try vervain, rosemary, a pinch of salt, and clove. There are two kinds of potpourri, dry and wet or simmering. Dry potpourri is about as simple as you can get. It's a blend of dried herbs, flowers, and spices placed in an open dish to scent the air and allow the energy to gently spread. Simmering potpourri is only marginally more challenging. The potpourri is placed in a pot of water and simmered on the stove. If you've ever mulled wine or apple cider, it's a similar process. She started a domestic consulting client. Now it's my only gig. Well then, that is interesting. Does that mean you can like work on your art whenever you want? It is back to Back to passion projects. When making a batch of potpourri, it is a nice idea to set a small spoonful of it in a dish on your kitchen or hearth shrine as an offering. Dry potpourri also makes a good stuffing for herbal pillows, sachets, dolls, and so forth. I don't know what orris root is. What is orris root? Don't chop up your plant material. If you begin with it fresh and intend to dry it yourself for potpourri, try to keep the natural oils as unbruised as possible, as these are what give dried flowers and spices their scent. When dry, crumble the plant matter into large bits. The orris root is a fixative, something that will help fix the natural and added essential oils to preserve the scent of the mix longer. As a rule, use 2 tablespoons of the orris root powder to 1 cup of dried potpourri mix. You will need dried herbs, dried flowers, dried spices, powdered orris root. I don't know where to find that. And 6 drops of essential oil per cup of dry mix. Place all the dried plant matter, including the powdered orris root, in a bowl and stir with your hands to combine. Sprinkle with essential oil and stir again. Life is interesting. Well, I always have the freedom to work on art whenever I want. The workload fluctuates with rental activity. This month's most days are 2 to 4 hours, but last month was slow. I got you. Just go do a little bit of maintenance, clean up. Keep the blend in a closed container for at least 2 weeks to mellow or ripen. This allows the scents to blend. Open the container and stir it once a day to keep it from going moldy. Even if you think your plant matter is perfectly dry, there can sometimes be a drop or 2 of moisture left in it. It's important that, when it's ready, put your potpourri in an open container and place it in an area you wish to be affected by the energy. It's important that you not forget about your dry potpourri once you've set it out. Dust collects in it, and exposure to air and the energy of the room will eventually weaken the energy of the herbal components. Make a new batch when you feel the energy of the old one has expired. You can buy used potpourri or compost it. You can bury used potpourri or compost it. Making soap. Potpourri soap. And simmering potpourri. Winter holiday potpourri. Sprinkling powders. Here we go. Sprinkling powders are used to distribute the energy of an herb or herbal blend around an area. It can be left permanently, for example, outside, or for a specific period of time and then swept or vacuumed up, if the intent is to absorb negative or unwanted energy. Here's another use for sprinkling powder. Rub a candle with oil, plain olive oil or steeped oil of your own making. Then roll it in sprinkling powder to load up on energies associated with your offering and petition. Ooh, we made fancy witchy soaps for a chaos meet at one point. When used for dry potpourri is an additive for soap balls. We just used the bottom of like a small party cup. Filled it with the glycerin, right? Is that what you want? Yep. Soap flakes, Castile soap, whatever. Yeah. Dry potpourri, 2 bars of soap or soap flakes or whatever. A grater to, I think the grater is unnecessary. You just melt the glycerin. Microwave safe container, boiling water. I don't know if the boiling water is necessary. 5 drops of essential oil, which is optional. Rubber gloves. You don't have to, but it's probably a good idea. And a foil-lined tray or baking sheet, just to have somewhere to put the stuff to dry, I guess. If the potpourri has large chunks, crush it into smaller pieces. Grate the bars of soap into a microwave-safe container. Stir 1 spoonful of boiling water into the soap flakes with the chopstick. So yeah, if you use straight glycerin, then you don't have to use the water or boil, or you can just like throw some glycerin in there and nuke it. And then really what we do is we fill the cup with all the stuff, and then we fill the glycerin, and then we nuke it and put it all together, and then we let it dry and cool. Microwave at 80% power for 10 seconds at a time until the mixture begins to melt and bubble. Remove and stir with the chopstick. If the mixture is too stiff to stick together, add another few drops of boiling water. Again, with the glycerin, we didn't have that problem. I kind of want to, if I can, I would like to start releasing videos where I interview my crafty home. She's a hearth witch. She's totally a house witch. Really big on do-it-yourself projects. Really big on like dollar store ingredients. Though my client is a little bratty, though. Those we are charged with, but it's comfortable work until the next opportunity manifests. I gotcha. Let's see. Add a spoonful of potpourri to the soap mixture and stir. Yeah, so they do it after you melt it. Put on rubber gloves. Scoop the small amount of soap mixture with your fingers and roll or press it into a ball. Oh, that's why they do it with the soap. I liked the shape that the cup made. Or you can pop it in a mold or whatever. I don't need a ball rolling around on my on my sink. Place each ball on the baking tray to dry. Yeah. Simmering things, sprinkling powders. Oh, I need to stretch. Sorry. Oh. I might get into doing some fancy candles. Fancy spell candles. The easiest way to make a sprinkling powder is to completely powder a single herb or blend of herbs, either in a blender, a coffee grinder, or with a mortar and pestle, and sprinkle the mixture where you wish the energy to work. If you prefer, you can powder the herbs and then mix them into a neutral carrier such as cornstarch or baking soda. Using talc is not recommended because it can cause problems if inhaled. If you use fine sawdust as a base instead, the resulting powder can be burned as an incense or on a charcoal tablet. Make sure your workshop will generally be of wood treated with chemicals that are unsafe. Sawdust collected from a workshop will generally be of wood treated with chemicals that are unsafe to burn and inhale. It really depends on the workshop. Loose incense. Basically, get some resin, put it in a mortar and pestle, put in the dried plant matter, grindy, grindy, grindy. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Incense balls are a fun alternative to loose incense and are useful if you wish to include liquid ingredients. Powdered dry herbs and liquid such as honey or wine. I need to go AFK for a second. Apparently there is a Cunningham book, a complete book of incense oils and brews, which could also be awesome. Ugh. I have returned. I want the incense tone. That stuff has fascinated me since my childhood. Gotta run though, have a slot at the printmaking studio. Keep it up. Kick ass at that studio. Make all the prints. Do all the things. Incense balls are burned on a charcoal tablet. Make sure you use charcoal marked for indoor use, often sold in religious or ethnic shops. I get the stuff that you usually use in a hookah. Works great. Works great. Potassium nitrate. Sewing and needlework. Needlework of any kind is a method of altering, changing, transforming, or reordering some things, and as such makes an excellent basis for hearth-related magical work. Whether it's as simple as hemming new curtains or a tablecloth out of a rectangle of fabric, like any other craft, sewing can be enhanced and deepen the energy of your home and spiritual hearth. This section will not go into fancy needlework, but you will find one simple sleep pillow craft. If you are interested in other crafts that include sewing and needlework among them, look up Dorothy Morrison's Magical Needlework or Willow Polson's Witchcrafts and the Crafty Witch. Herbal sleep pillows. Part of caring for one's family and home is making sure people get enough sleep in order to be well rested and able to operate at peak efficiency. If you or your little ones are having trouble sleeping, make a tiny sleep pillow to tuck under your full-size pillow and encourage restful sleep. Dill and lavender are both associated with sleep. Try using a thick material such as felt. Otherwise, the bits of dried dill can poke through the fabric. If you wish to use a particularly thinner cloth, double it. If you wish to use a particularly read that immediately. The color or pattern are your choice, although try using a soft color instead of something vibrant or saturated. Try using a thick material such as felt. They have you using the powdered orris root again. So basically make a potpourri pillow instead of stuffed with. I would probably include a sigil for, restful sleep in the pillow. I have a sigil under my bed. Close the lid firmly, seal it with wax if you wish, dripping from a candle. If you intend to keep the bottle in your home. Oh, spell bottles. I feel like that could be a day in and of itself. A spell bottle is a collection of items with similar energy brought together in one place for a specific purpose. Also called witch bottles, they're generally used for protection, but you can choose whatever theme you like. The bottle can be as temporary or as permanent as you require. If permanent, you may wish to make it as attractive as possible in order to facilitate display on your shrine or the room it's designed to work in. You can even paint it a solid color and paint abstract designs on it. The basic technique for spell bottles is simple. In a jar or bottle of any size appropriate for your purpose, add herbs that support your goal, stones that support your goal, coins, if that's what you want, symbols, sigils, basically. Writing on paper, again with the sigils. Close. Oh, that's the next page. Close the lid firmly, seal it with wax if you wish, dripped from a candle. If you intend, so I have a collection of the Kettle One sample bottles. So they're nice little tiny bottles, and I actually collected them with the intent of making positive spell bottles for my friends for like a present or something. I haven't gotten around to it, of course, but I need to start doing that Otherwise, my husband is like, why do we have all these bottles? Spoken magic. Or you can do a witch ball. Yeah, it is spell bottle variation, a witch ball. I have 4 of them on my table right now because I have them hanging on my tree. Spoken magic. There is power in words. A spoken word moves air and creates the physical effect of sound waves hitting the eardrum. In this way, spoken words bring ideas from the mental realm into the physical world, an excellent example of manifesting your will. An incantation is a fancy word for a spoken piece of magic, or the words that accompany a magical act. Other forms of charms, prayers, hymns, and so forth. Magic words are used in almost every culture's form of magic and also in worship. Incorporating spoken magic into a daily spiritual practice isn't difficult at all. Nope. Spoken magic is a very common kind of practice. Think of saying, rain, rain, go away, come again some other day. Name wants to play, or starlight, star bright, when first seeing a star. This kind of folk wisdom, speaking things in response to an event or occurrence, is rarely seen as a kind of magic. More often it is seen as averting bad fortune in some way or simply as habit. Also known as country sayings, the children's rhymes, or even superstition. These bits of folk wisdom are sometimes rooted in actual historical events, such as the Rain, Rain rhyme, which dates from Elizabethan times and is said to have originated from the storm during which the Spanish Armada was turned back from the English shores. They also can have a fortune-telling aspect, such as the 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy rhyme that can be applied to the number of crows or ravens seen in a flock, or even to sneezes. Alexander Carmichael's Carmina Gadelica, is a collection of prayers, blessings, charms, and incantations from the Highlands of Scotland gathered between 1855 and 1910. Spoken magic is one of the easiest ways to incorporate spiritual and magical practice into your everyday routine. Choose certain times or events and compose short sayings or words to speak when they occur. Doing so offers you an opportunity to consciously reconnect with the spirituality of the day. Keep your sayings and incantations simple. When you look at traditional sayings, they often have a beat or a rhythm to them. Doing this with your own sayings facilitates the mnemonic. They don't absolutely need to rhyme, but a regular rhythm or beat does help. Keep the phrases short so that you won't lose the rhythm of what you're doing, and so they're easier to speak and remember. You don't have to declaim them. Murmuring or whispering them under your breath is just fine. Here is a list of suggested times or events to initiate spoken magic. You don't have to use them all. They are suggestions only. Well, find a few that work for you. Turning on a stone, element, or oven. Adding salt to a pot. Stirring a pot. Setting the table. Serving food. Sitting down to a meal, like saying grace. Opening the kitchen door. I don't have a door to my kitchen. Sweeping. Washing the dishes. Wiping the counter. Turning off the light at the end of the day. Here are some examples of phrases to help you create your own saying. May my life, while stirring a pot, may my life be as cared for as my cooking. While serving food, may the food about to be eaten nourish my family in both my body and my soul. While sweeping, May all negative and non-supportive energy be removed from this place. You get the idea. Traditional incantations and charms tend to invoke a deity of some kind. As this book is not specifically linked to any one deity in any particular spiritual or religious practice, there are no deity-linked sayings here. However, people often like to link their sayings to their deity of choice, and I encourage you to do the same if you feel drawn to do so. It can be as simple as saying, "in the name of deity," and before the rest of the incantation. The corn husk doll. The craft of making a corn husk doll is often performed around the first harvest festival at the beginning of August, i.e., Lammas is celebrated in some English-speaking countries in the Northern Hemisphere, and Lughsanach is a similar Gaelic festival. I used to use the terms interchangeably. They are not interchangeable. They are two separate, entirely separate events. Sometimes these dolls are used as kitchen witch icons and hung in the window or above the stove for good luck. They are also symbols of Brigid for Lammas. If you wish to make one of these corn husk dolls yearly, you can burn or compost the old one that has watched over your kitchen throughout the previous year. Save your corn husks when you eat fresh corn in the late summer. Lay them flat on a piece of newspaper for a couple of days, and then collect them in a paper bag and store them somewhere cool and dry like the garage. I don't have a garage. To use, lay the dried husks in a shallow pan of water to soften them up a bit, and then soaking the husks make them pliable so they don't snap when you bend them. They don't need to be soaked for long. 5 to 10 minutes should do it. These husks can be also substitute for wheat stalks in many crafts if you cut or tear them into narrower widths. Craziness. Making a corn husk doll. So you're going to need some yarn. It says for hair, color of your choice. I don't think hair is necessary. Dried corn husks soaked in water, approximately 12 inches long. A tea towel or a clean cloth. Natural colored cotton string. Scissors and a twig. Gather the pieces of yarn and knot them together at one end. Take the husks out of the water when they have been soaked in, and pat the excess water off with a cloth. Stack 4 husks on top of each other, aligning the long and short edges. Lay the yarn along the top of the husks with the knot near the narrow end. Roll the layered husks around the yarn and tie the roll just above the knot with a piece of string. Tie it tightly, but not so tightly that it cracks the husks. Trim the ends of the string. Fold the husks down over the knot to make the witch's head. Tie another piece of string around the husks at the neck. The yarn for the hair will now be revealed. To make arms, roll a husk up tightly and tie a piece of string around the middle to keep it rolled. Slide the arm piece between the layers of folded down husks. If you like, you can tear the body husks a bit to place the arms where you want them. Trim the arms to the desired length and tie off each wrist area with a short piece of string. Make the waist by tying a piece of string below the arms. And to make a broom, cut a 1-inch long piece from the end of the husk. Oh, that's what the twig is for. Leaving a solid strip about a 1/4 inch deep. with the fringed end down. Roll the strip down around the end of the twig and tie it with a piece of string. Secure the broom to one of the hands by tying it with a piece of string. Honoring the seasons. You know what? Creating magical figures and symbols. We're going to get into spells and rituals in chapter 11. Tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're talking on Sunday. We're talking again on Sunday. If you liked this video at any point, please hit the like button. If you would like to see what we do for the rest of this book, we're going to look at spells and rituals on Sunday. Please hit subscribe and maybe even ring that bell on the off chance that it will notify you if a video goes up or a live stream starts. If you are interested in supporting me, I do have a Patreon, which is linked in the description below. Thank you, Nicole. I will catch you guys on the flip side.